Yo, what's going on, YGG SEA fam? It's your host, Darth. Welcome to another episode of an AMA. Today we have AAVEGOTCHI. Uh, from AAVEGOTCHI is the co-founder, Jesse. Hey, Jesse, how are you
Hey,
doing?
thanks for having me here, man. Excited to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it was kind of hard to find a time that we were all trying to work together because you guys seem pretty busy these past couple of weeks.
Yeah, there's a lot going on and there's a lot to be excited about. So we've just been super, super busy, heads down. That's for the team and that's also for me personally. I just moved back to Singapore, so I'm on the other side of the planet now, back in SEA, and happy to be here. So those big moves always take up a lot of energy and time, though.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, let's get into the first question. So for our listeners, there's people that don't know about Avogacci. So if you could briefly explain, what is Avogacci and who's the team behind Avogacci?
Yeah, absolutely. We're a fully docs team, so you're looking at one of the co-founders here, and then there's also Coder Dan, who you can follow on Twitter. He's a brilliant person who's doing everything from Solidity to product design and everything in between. So we kind of started it about 2.5 years ago, and when people ask me what is Avogacci today, I tend to say, well, we're one of the most mature NFT projects in the space. We've been building uh, and when I say building, I mean everybody's talking about building and utility and community. Those are like the three big buzzwords. But and there's truth to that. But I think in our case, what we're building is like something that is consistent. Like it's something new. Literally every Saturday, we're pushing updates to the Gotchiverse, and everyone can come into our Discord or on Twitter, and you'll find 400 people in our Discord every Saturday morning, U.S. time, hanging out and seeing what is the latest push into the metaverse we're developing called the Gotchiverse. And so you can go to avogacci.com, just check out the landing page. It kind of takes you through why we're like a protocol that has uh, a lot of different things going on. If you're interested in crypto pets, that's kind of our origin story. If you're interested in on-chain dynamic metadata, that's something we love to mess with. And then if there's interest in things like pushing the boundaries on the metaverse from a technical point of view, that's something we've embraced from the get-go. And our alpha for the Gotchiverse has been live now for about 4 months, and it's built for speed. It's built for volume. So we just love what we're building, and we love where it's going. And we've got a few exciting surprises right around the corner that we have been working on, as you alluded to. So I hope maybe by the end of this conversation we can squeeze out some of the stuff that's on the horizon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's very exciting how you're saying that this is a protocol, and which leads to my next question. Did you guys choose this name because of Ave?
Oh yeah, so yeah, that's the backstory. That It's everybody's like, why Avogacci and why the Ave part. So long story short, when we were just getting started, we pitched the idea of Avogacci to Stanny and the team at Ave, and they were very receptive to it. This is DeFi summer, and they're looking at NFTs and looking for people that are building something that is you know it has something that could tie into DeFi. So we really came out of the gate as an NFT DeFi experiment where you could take the Aave tokens that you have from Aave protocol, and you're able to deposit those Aave tokens into the Avogacci. So an Avogacci is many things. It's different things to different people, but it is first and foremost a digital piggy bank holding your interest generating Aave. Every Avogacci you see has at least some minimum balance or maybe a lot more of some Aave tokens inside of it. That's why every Avogacci has some like symbol on its forehead. If you see a link symbol, that tells you that that particular Avogacci can hold Aave interest generating link tokens. Likewise, if it's ETH, it's got the diamond on the forehead and so on. So it's really fun to play with all of this, and we love the interoperability and composability of these different money Legos that are out there. And that's really what we set out to do, was just to create a very engaging, not a PFP, but it is originally 10,000 Avegotchis that really, you know, experiment with all the possibilities of the different standards out there and different money Legos. So yeah, Aave played a big role early on. They gave us a grant. I think it was a 5K grant on day one to get started and explore what it could be. That's before we even knew what an Aavegotchi would look like. And and that was cool. I mean, basically they're very hands off. We're an independent project, and they just are along for the ride. And Stanley's one of our best advisors. So there is a relationship there, and it's a good one. But uh, Ave's Ave and Avegotchi's Avegotchi.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Aave, their logo is also similar to yours, I guess, which is a ghost.
Oh yeah, the Ave means ghost in Finnish. So we were just like, we basically came to them, and our team, Pixelcraft Studios, we have a track record of experimenting with these different types of NFTs and smart contracts. So BullionX was the project we'd done prior, and that was the very first time a 721 NFT was able to have ERC20 cryptocurrency deposited inside of it like a piggy bank. And so we were already experimenting with that, but we were doing it with stable coins. And we brought it to Aave and said, we think this is much, much more compelling. And by the way, we want to build a better crypto pet. And we have some ideas around that as well. At the time, I was just obsessed with this, argument that, oh, I can just right click save your NFT. And it's like, well, you can, but if you actually bake in some real on chain utility, you can right click save all you want, but you're not going to be able to have all those tokens that are deposited inside of it. And when it comes to a crypto pet, we introduced dynamic metadata where when an Avegotchi is born, it has 50 kinship points. And then if you pet it every day with an on chain transaction, those kinship points increase. So you can go up twice a day, actually, every 12 hours. Likewise, if you neglect your Avegotchi, your kinship score will fall. And so that was one of many different kind of characteristics we wanted to build into the Avegotchi. And yeah, Aave was very supportive of that. They said, let's do, go ahead with the ghosts, make them pixelated, kind of an echo or an homage to what their logo is. And we took it from there.
It's awesome. So yeah, my next question is, what is the impact of the current bear market on Aavegotchi?
Yeah, yeah. Well, nobody likes a bear market, that's for sure. And at the same time, we feel like we were kind of born out of the last bear. I mean, I was building in a serious bear market there after the 2017, 2018. And I just dedicated all my time to NFTs. So we feel like we were born out of a bear, and we can thrive in a bear as well, because we're just always shipping. Like I said, every Saturday we're shipping new things. 400 people showing up. That's no accident. That is a dedicated community that is engaged and helping to build this. Because the one big differentiating factor that we haven't mentioned yet is that Avegotchi is first and foremost a DAO. And so uh, when we kickstarted this, we used a smart contract on the Aragon platform that allowed for a bonding curve. And what that is basically like, imagine Uniswap or your normal swapper smart contract, except there's just one pair. And the pair is the new token, our governance token, GHST. And on the other side of that is DAI stablecoins. And so as people, if you want to interact with it, the curve, you can send in DAI and it will mint new ghosts. Long story short, very fascinating tokenomics behind that. And the last 2.5 years have proven that that is a wonderful model that we're so happy with, because it actually smooths out a lot of the price volatility you see with so many tokens. On any given day, if Ethereum, Bitcoin, your major blue chips are down and having a real red day, if you go look at GHST on CoinGecko, you'll see we may be down a couple cents in dollar terms, but more than likely, 9 out of 10 times, we're up significantly against other cryptos. And a big reason for that is Ghost is literally like one third, 2/3 backed by DAI tokens. It's a partially collateralized ERC20 cryptocurrency. So with the bear, yeah, for sure, the token is off of all-time highs. But as I mentioned, if you look at the ETH or the Bitcoin pairings, actually we're doing quite well. So it's an interesting place to be. And AAVEGOTCHI over these 2 years has really evolved into a very 360 kind of ecosystem. So we have our own marketplace called the Bazaar, and you see various NFTs in there outside of just AAVEGOTCHI's. You also see their wearables, their potions, the consumables, all these game items for the Gotchiverse, land, and each of these kind of are behaving differently as the market, the wider market, goes up or down. And so we have great volume. We're one of the, I think, on any given day, if you look at like DApp Radar and check Polygon, everything we're trading is on Polygon, and our marketplace is consistently in the top one or two or even three for volume trading volume on Polygon as far as all NFT marketplaces. So it's robust, it's vibrant, and it just never really stops. It doesn't really care what else is going on outside of the rest of the space. In some ways, we've achieved a bit of decoupling that most projects can only dream of. And for that, we're quite thankful. It's a double-edged sword, but we have definitely carved out our own robust little niche that is truly an ecosystem or protocol, however you'd like to call it. There's our core team at Pixelcraft that's building the Gotchiverse kind of as a flagship, and all the guilds that are rallying around that, including YGG. But then there's also the indie game developers, other Solidity teams, other game studios that we're seeing more and more. What used to be kind of proof of concept mini games are now coming up and delivering their own dApps and their own games, Web3 games that are built on top of the AAVEGOTCHI protocol. And I think that's where it gets really, really exciting. As this matures, we're starting to see where this is really going to go, and it's 360.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was so much information, talking about bonding curves and DeFi and building off of everything, which actually leads perfectly to my next question, right? Which is,
Mhm.
there's so many PGE games out there. What makes Aavegotchi different?
Yeah, yeah, and there's a couple that I did mention I could elaborate on, like the fact that we are a true DAO. Like everybody talks about, we're a community, we're a nation, we're a whatever, but at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. And if you look at the metrics, for example, most DAOs run on a snapshot, right? Or they have a snapshot as part of their governance. And on Polygon, our snapshot is consistently number one, number two again, where we are just whether it's the proposals, the on-chain voting, whatever it is, we're always up there as one of the most active DAOs in the world. And actually, it was just the other day, I think yesterday, Nansen, the big analytics, basically the best analytics, crypto analytics in the world, they just tweeted out the top 5 DAOs in the world, and we were like right behind our friends at Aave. So it was like Aave, AAVEGOTCHI, and a few more stud DAOs. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I mean
So,
that's one way we're different with play to earn. The other is, I guess, to follow up, like there is this idea that when you get land in a metaverse, is there a play to earn aspect to that? And when our land went live, we wanted to kind of flip it on its head. Whereas the AAVEGOTCHI, you have to put your savings into it, into like it's like a savings account, it's a piggy bank. We flipped that, and when we did the land sale, each piece of land has an unknown amount of the play to earn tokens inside of it. These are used for crafting in the space. So when you ask about the utility, you can actually take these 4 different play to earn tokens that we call Alchemica, and you're able to go to a crafting table, something like Minecraft, and craft new NFTs that have gameplay use cases inside of the Gotchiverse. And so one of the most unique things was, oh, how much of this Alchemica do I have under the ground in my parcel? And we partnered with Chainlink. We've used Chainlink integrations multiple times, but this must be our most useful or most interesting. And that is when the land went live a few weeks ago, you were able to, for the first time, we had what was called the farm release. And I'm sure your guild is very busy with this. The farm release allowed for everybody to finally do a survey of their parcel. And they used the Chainlink VRF, which is a random number generator. It's like a dice roll. And you were able to basically find out how much oil is under your ground as a metaphor, right? You're drilling down and finding out what's under your ground. And it's kind of like a bell curve. You're either normal, somewhere in the average, or you're really lucky, or you're a little bit under average. But everybody's got alchemica under their land in this magical world that we are building together. That is the Gotchiverse. And so I'd say it's very collaborative. It's very creative, and that's kind of the ethos of the Gotchiverse. Is like right now, for example, a lot of the guilds and individuals are competing for the next few weeks to craft uh, these decorative tiles and place them on their parcels, and we're calling them mosaics. And if you arrange them in, you can basically create any kind of creative layout you want on your parcel now. And the most creative ones will be winning a competition of up to, I think, $10,000 worth of ghost tokens, HST. So it's pretty competitive, and we love to do leaderboards and those kind of competitions. But we do, I would say, tend to dive towards kind of the very creative aspect where everybody's an artist, everybody's able to flex and create something that shows their personality or their vision. That's where we're trying to go with this. User generated content at the end of the day is going to be what really makes any metaverse, any virtual world worth being in. And so we're not beyond understanding that us as Pixelcraft, the key studio, is going to build everything. We want everybody to come in and contribute. And so we're just building the framework for that.
Sweet. I mean, I'm so glad you talked about tiles because that's actually my next question. I see that you have dark magenta, yellow, blue. So how did you guys choose these different colors, different color tiles?
That is a funny question because it sounds simple, like, oh, just start with the basic crayon box, right? 8 colors. But the tiles, every week we release a new color for the next few weeks. And so you kind of have to plan ahead because each of these, let's say the yellow tiles came out yesterday or the other day, they are only available for crafting for 2 weeks. So there's still scarcity. There's no cap, but there's a time window. And that's how we do most of the crafting in the Gotchiverse. If you're present, if you're there, you'll be able to craft that stuff. But once it expires, you'll no longer be able to do that. As far as the colors, there was a lot of energy put into that. We have a team of over 35 people working full time now on AAVEGOTCHI and the Gotchiverse at Pixelcraft Studios. And a big portion of that team is, of course, designers and game developers from the traditional game development industry. And so you'd be surprised some of the times, you think the complex stuff will be the stuff that bottlenecks or slows things down. But sometimes we could spend a whole afternoon, hashing out something that's very minute, very detailed, like what colors are going to be included and which ones are not. And so at the end of the day, it's all about um, asking ourselves, what do we want what do we want the Gotchiverse to be? And so if you haven't seen the Gotchiverse, just imagine something that's very vaporwave, very kind of throwback retro. It's a mix of pixel art and 3D refined art. We really thought, and still we strongly feel that the metaverse, or at least what we want, our vision of a metaverse, is something that shouldn't look like traditional gaming. We don't want to build. We're not the ones to come to if you want to play a game that looks and feels normal, like a trad game, but happens to have some NFT rewards inside of it. Like that's not what AAVEGOTCHI is about. If you come to AAVEGOTCHI and the Gotchiverse, you're there to explore smart contracts, staking, DeFi, NFTs, and you should do that in an environment with an aesthetic that reflects this kind of space that we're in, like where we are in the crypto space right now. And so I think we're achieving that on a couple of different levels. And the cool thing is, if it's a little too dark purples and mysterious for you, that's what the mosaics are for. There's a lot of new bright colors coming through every other week. So yeah, we're just trying to make it match. The visuals should match what we're building intellectually.
For sure. Um, this might be a different question that maybe a lot of people don't ask, but because being head of community, I get to check out all these different types of discords and like see everyone's questions. So this next question is, who is Farmer Alf?
Farmer Alf. Farmer Alf. I definitely did not expect that question. Okay, if you go back to some of our earliest tweets, pretty early on, Farmer Alf showed up on the scene, and this is a gentle soul, probably somewhere in the Midwest United States. Just came in off the farm tending his garden, and he loves to talk about DeFi. And he's just one of our favorite characters within the space. He's shown up on a few occasions now to talk about AAVEGOTCHI and how he's harvesting. And if you go to our YouTube channel, we have an official channel where you can see the, I think, total of 3 videos he's done where he gives a shout out to AAVEGOTCHI, and he's just a lot of fun. We love Farmer Alf.
Yeah, I mean, it's very. I find it very interesting, especially in crypto. It's like it's just an older gentleman who you think doesn't know anything about it, but like he's just a crypto degen like the most of us.
Yeah, he's a degen at heart. I don't even think he knows it, but he is. So yeah, highly recommend anyone to check them out. It's short videos, but very entertaining. Love to hear from Farmer Alf.
Yeah. Um, I'll bring in one of the questions that are on our Discord right now. Um, there's one by Sohai Zol. What are your plans in order to avoid hyperinflation of the Ghost token?
Interesting question. Well, maybe not. Maybe he's not aware of the curve, but um, that is one of the cool things about the curve is it's very reflexive depending on what the demand is. If demand goes down, the curve literally burns the ghost tokens. So if you sell your ghost tokens back to the curve, where do they go? They burn, and then you get your DAI back. So the one of the unique things is like the total supply, the circulating supply of ghost token ebbs and flows. If a lot of DAI is coming in, people are demanding ghost, it will mint them at subsequently higher prices as demand increases. And then as demand is falling, you can sell back to the curve, and the price for minting new ghost actually will go down. So I don't think hyperinflation is a concern with the current model. Now we are a DAO, and I guess a little alpha here. It's not alpha; it's in the DAO forums. I was surprised to see a conversation start this last week where some people are a little nervous, I think, about like DAI itself and all this stablecoin drama we've seen. There is a bit of a discussion about perhaps the curve has done its job. It's been very effective, and maybe we need to diversify and do some risk diversification there to move away from the curve. Now, those are very early talks, and I don't endorse it or anything. I'm just thinking there are more than one way to do things. And if you're following AAVEGOTCHI, you are curious about the tokenomics, this is a very interesting thread to drop into. You can just go to dao.avegotchi.com and read all about it.
Nice. Next question is by Bubbles. Can you further explain to us the utilities and differences of Ghost, GLTR, and Gotcha's alchemy? Alchemy?
Yeah, the Gachus Alchemica, the full name. I usually just say Alchemica. But yeah, if you go to the avegotchi.com, the first thing you'll see is, as you scroll down, you'll see all our different tokens. So there's 5 tokens in the ecosystem. Ghost is the original. It's the one on the bonding curve, and it is the governance token, voting power. Then when the game went live, the Gotchiverse, we got the 4 Alchemica. Shortly after that, an incentive to stake and provide liquidity for these 4 tokens came in the form of Glitter, GLTR. And we love Glitter. Glitter is literally tokenized time. So if you're like, what is Glitter? Why do I want Glitter? One of the gameplay modes of the Gotchiverse is very similar to, Clash of Clans on beach, those kind of games, those mobile games where you're building up your parcel. And as you upgrade your units, there's usually a mechanic with something like gemstones where you can spend the gems to speed up your build. And glitter has that same effect, except entirely on chain. One glitter will reduce one block of polygon block time from your build. So a block time on Polygon is very fast. It's like 2 seconds, 2.1 seconds. So literally, you could have let's say you want to upgrade your parcel's harvester because you're farming Alchemica now, right? You've got Alchemica under your ground. You want to go, and your strategy is to upgrade as fast as possible. You should LP your Alchemica. You could do an Alchemica Ghost pair, LP, and start earning glitter. And then you could cash in that glitter, spend the glitter to build and craft NFTs faster. And so this is a really cool aspect. We've tokenized time.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of blocks, congrats on the 20 millionth block that you guys just mined, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. Sorry about that. Having a really good drink here in my Gachi mug. Yeah, we did 20 million. It's
All right.
But yeah, 20 million. And the cool thing is, the DAO early on voted to put in the age of AAVEGOTCHIs because they are completely on-chain creatures. We could actually put in the UI and just show how old is your AAVEGOTCHI? When was it summoned? And so the oldest AAVEGOTCHIs are now over 20 million. I think the first one to hit that age was just a few days ago. So yeah, you're up on it. That was exciting news. I think I've got one or two AAVEGOTCHIs. Well, that was a few days ago. I should have almost a dozen AAVEGOTCHIs over 20 million blocks old now. So I'm pretty excited about that. You know,
Sweet.
we're always joking like these are completely on chain, including the artwork. Another thing that took the extra effort for our project was to put everything, the front view of your AAVEGOTCHI, the side view of your AAVEGOTCHI, the back view of your AAVEGOTCHI, all angles are saved as SVGs in the smart contract. We have no reliance on any servers. As long as Polygon is pumping, that blockchain's alive, so will your AAVEGOTCHI. So those block times, I mean, I look forward to the day when I'm like, gray haired and kicking back, and I've still got AAVEGOTCHIs that are just like really, really old, like billion blocks type stuff.
Yeah. So you were mentioning earlier about what you guys were planning on doing. This is by Sohai Snorlax. His question is: so many projects just like to speak about long-term vision and mission, but what are your short-term objectives? What are you focusing on right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've kind of been in stealth mode here for the last few weeks, but really the last few months, we've been planning something really special that um, if you're listening now live, I mean, I'm so tempted to break, but this is short term. We're going to announce news here in about an hour. Right after this AMA, we're going to be in the Discord at AAVEGOTCHI for our rarity farming event, which is happening today. And we're going to drop some alpha there about something totally out of left field. People are not expecting this, and it's supplemental to the Gotchiverse, and it's something I'm super excited about. So all I can say is I've been working with a core group from the team on something really special. And if you're creative, if you are looking for something where you can have a direct impact and jump in fresh, we've got something for you. I just wish I could tell you more about it right now. So, in addition to that, of course, the Gotchiverse is going to continue to develop. We have all our, the great majority of our effort is behind that, and we'll have some announcements on that as well. Everybody wants combat. These cute little Gotchis, I didn't think they should fight, but everybody wants combat. So we're building that out, and we'll have some really cool PvP in the next quarter or so.
Great. I mean, you're talking about rarity farming, and the person that was asking this question, I didn't want to bring it up, but I guess I'm just going to twist your arm just a little bit more. Um, this question is by Ria Bora. Upon research, I came across rarity farming, which is a novel game mechanism introduced in AAVEGOTCHI. Can you provide some details on your rarity farming? Also, what is rarity score? How can we calculate it, and what relations does it have with rarity farming?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked this because it's one of the coolest aspects of Avogotchi, and yet it can look intimidating, but it's actually really simple. We have three leaderboards that measure on-chain activity and of your Avogotchi. So the first one is the rarity score, and an Avogotchi is not just one NFT. A naked Avogotchi is one NFT, but usually they have hats and things in their hands. Those are other 1155 NFTs that have been composably attached via an on-chain transaction. You kind of like meld them together. So we used the 998 standard early on. We're one of the few to mess around with that. And we are literally stacking NFTs on top of each other. So as you do that, let's say you put a godlike rarity wizard hat on top of your Avogotchi. It is able to recognize this shift and adjust your traits in real time. So your personality traits can be adjusted, and your overall rarity score will increase. And so this will help you climb the leaderboard. So of the three leaderboards, the rarity one pays out the most. We're talking about every 2 weeks we're paying out for season four. We're in season four right now. Every 2 weeks we pay out $350,000 worth of Ghost. This comes from our primary sales. I think 30 some percent was diverted to a rewards pool for rarity farming. And so, yeah, there's a long tail. Over 5,000 plus Avogotchis will earn rewards every 2 weeks and divvy up that $350,000. So, rarity scores is all about getting the best wearables on top of your Avogotchi, and then going from there. And it gets pretty interesting, but we'll leave it at that. The other two leaderboards, one of them is kinship. So just pet your Avogotchi every day. It doesn't have any capital. It doesn't care if you have a rare Avogotchi or a common Avogotchi. It's all about your proof of attention. Are you taking care of your Avogotchi? Are you paying attention to it? If you are, you're climbing that leaderboard. And the third one is XP. If you're earning experience points, you can climb that leaderboard. And I love our experience points model because that's why we have such an active DAO. It's one of the many reasons. When you vote or make a proposal, you will be airdropped XP to your Avogotchi. And so XP is kind of your social proof. It's your proof of DAO. It's your proof of caring about the wider ecosystem. And so as you engage in the and attend Discord events, we'll airdrop XP to you. And so you can climb that leaderboard as well and harvest more ghost tokens.
Yeah, that was really interesting how you guys talked about XP because I noticed while reading your DAO forums and updates that you guys were giving out 100 XP, or I think the latest one was 200 XP, which is quite a bit for anyone, right?
That's a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not quite sure which one that would be. Usually it's like if you drop in literally an hour from now, we're doing the rarity farming season 2 round 2, season 4 round 2. If you're there, we'll drop a type form. We keep it simple. We drop a type form, you fill it out, you put your address. If there's an Avogotchi in that address, we'll airdrop 20 XP to you. So 200's a lot. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but
I
20
think I saw
XP.
somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure it's no. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. That's the thing. It's a whole ecosystem. There's like so many facets. You can be a gamer. You can be a guild member. There's so many guilds that have sprouted up. YGG SEA. You guys are very active. You could be a creative. You could be a DAO governor. There's so many ways to get involved.
Yeah. I guess I'll choose two more questions from Discord. This one's pretty good. It's by Sprite. Experienced team is the most important thing in building company growth. What project will not develop without being managed by an experienced team, whatever it is good. So how about, sorry, the English is kind of messy. So how about this project? Does your team have good experience in the cryptocurrency world?
Yeah, yeah. No, we're very fortunate. We've got an amazing team, and I think the kind of results speak for themselves. The consistency. So, myself, I've been in the crypto space since 2015. Professionally, since then, my background I kind of started on the digital assets exchange side. Um, and ended up shifting into NFTs really early, like late 2017. I was running around with CryptoKitties and helped co-found Mintable.app with Zach Burks, which is the first no-code solution um, for creating your own NFTs. At the time, there was really no other smart contracts or UI out there for people that couldn't code. So I just was like, that's really important. We started with that. That project's gone on to great success. It's had, Mark Cuban led around with them, all sorts of things. Um, I left that to work on BullionX and start really experimenting with on-chain powers. What can we do with an NFT outside of enjoy the artwork? And so I wanted to, prove some points there and explore that. And that led to AAVEGOTCHI. Coder Dan is the CEO of Pixelcraft Studios and my co-founder. Dude's a brilliant. He's a genius. So I don't need to say too much about him. If you know Coder Dan, you know what's up. And then we've got an amazing team we've built around us with like former CTO of CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap is the most visited crypto website in the world. When the market's going nuts, it's getting how many people are smashing that refresh button F5, right? Somebody had to build all that infrastructure to support that. The guys that we have brought over and recruited are the people who built that from scratch, way before the Binance merger, or acquisition. So we've got Mavis Ledford on the team, former CTO. We've also got the former CPO. These are the guys that built that site, and they are building the back end of the Gotchiverse. That's exactly why the Gotchiverse already can support over 5, 6, 7,000 Aavegotchis simultaneously running around this world together on the same instance. Not to knock our peers, we love Decentraland, but last time I was there, you can't have 5,000 people running around together. I see Yuga Labs; they're trying to do that now with their project with the apes. That's good. With the other world, but that infrastructure we're building it from scratch, and it speaks for itself. It's really, really cool. So, as a parting thought, you can be part of the team too, because I didn't even touch on the DAO community members. We have literally like brain surgeons who moonlight as DAO governors, and everybody in between. So the brain gain is real, and the type of people we attract to Aavegotchi are very talented in their own rights, and more often than not, we're in the minority. Myself, I'm learning from them. So it goes both ways, and there's just so much talent in the space. I could highlight a dozen other teammates that we've hired that are incredible people, but I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. So the last question on Discord that I'm gonna ask is by So High Lexus, which how does partnering Aavegotchi and YGGC bring mutual benefits to each other and also to the community?
Well, when we built the Gotchiverse, we built it for guilds. I mean, we built it knowing guilds are this ever evolving but very important piece of what crypto gaming is going to be, right? If the next million crypto users are going to come through gaming, odds are they're not going to go straight through to a game. They're going to come through something like YGG or YGGC. And so we, in the tokenomics, in the gameplay design, you see all these different areas where we wanted to emphasize and incentivize people to organize and come together. You can call that a guild or a sub DAO or however you want to call it, but that's the model. And we wanted to in fact, we consulted with the best guilds like YGG and Gabby. We've had those phone calls and got that feedback way before we published the game because we wanted to make sure we had it right. So things like Gotchi lending, That's basically Uber, except you're not renting a car, you're renting an Aavegotchi. Um, that kind of stuff allows shared uh, play to earn. It allows aligned incentives. It really just empowers people and guilds to coordinate and work together to build out the Gotchiverse.
Great. Well, thank you all the Discord members for asking these questions. I'm gonna leave my last question to Jesse, which is what is the future roadmap for you guys? Are there new games, new products, features that you'll be releasing?
Yeah, we have new products. You'll hear about one of those products here in about 15 minutes, something like that. We'll have some breaking news here very soon. So keep hitting that refresh button. And then throughout the rest of the year, we're going to be building up to the combat and the land management. All those features are going to continue to be refined so that we get to a point where we're building towards what's called the Great Battle. And this serves many functions, but is also a opportunity for significant growth and outreach. And the Great Battle is where the Aavegotchis will meet their arch nemesis, the Liquidators, Lick. And these are little robots with really long tongues, but they're also a very unique type of NFT avatar. They're one-time use NFTs where they actually get burned after you use it to play in the game. And so what you're going to have is this massive battle for the Gotchiverse, where Aavegotchis are defending their citadel, their Gotchiverse, and their parcels from this invasion of free-to-play NFTs that are human-controlled, but they are liquidators. And so that's going to be an epic whole thing that I think will probably be has the potential to be one of the biggest crypto events of probably, let's say, Q1 of next year. It's going to be absolutely massive. And so that's what we're building up towards. And there's, I think, in the prophecy, if you go check out the Gotchiverse light paper, it's a lot of fun to read. And it references how there's a prophecy for a certain number of these great battles to take place over the next couple of years. And each one is kind of like, you could imagine it like a season, right? Like each season has its own flow and its own twists and turns. But the first great battle is coming soon, and it's going to be absolutely epic.
Great. So yeah, those are all my questions. I hope that everyone from YGGC got to know a bit more about Avgotchi. I for sure learned so much more. I'm excited for season four, season five, and what the future holds for Avgotchi. Thank you, Jesse, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on to educate not only me but to the rest of the community what Avgotchi is.
We're huge fans of YGG SEA, YGG family, and so really appreciate having this chance to connect with you guys directly and you to facilitate the conversation. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you guys have it. Another AMA. I hope you guys got to learn as much as I did. And stay tuned for next week while we'll have another AMA. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube and follow and smash that likes button if you want to see more content. Bye.